Welcome to the Teamwork Monster Hunter Podcast Show. It's episode 102 for the 27th of some kind of month, 2013. What kind of month is it, guys? April.
Flowers, spring, May. Yeah. Oh,
Flowers.
Whoa!
I messed that up.
Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful start. Welcome everybody, hi to the podcast of the Teamwork Monster Podcast. I am Christian from Game Design Reviews, Game Design Scrapbook, and of course teamworkcast.com, our beautiful website. And today we are going to fight a little bit monsters. We're going to hunt monsters in the game Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. And I would like to introduce to you the beautiful hunters that gathered with me that are going to get me through this quest, and I'm the newbie of this show. Prancing on left, we have Shepard.
All the other boys try to chase me. So here's my number. Call me maybe.
Where's your milkshake?
I'll show it to you. I don't want anyone coming to my yard.
We are in the yard
Stay off
already.
the lawn.
I was promised a milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Not on the screen. A voice of wisdom.
They sometimes call me Jesus.
But you are indeed putty.
It's true.
Could
I'll call
Jesus
you
drink a
Jesus.
bacon milkshake?
Yeah.
He could walk on it.
Oh. Yes, because it's a non-Newton liquid, Nexala. The voice melting with me together, we're dancing in the middle, our polygons are merging into one.
We're melting in real life too.
Yes, we are indeed. Hi Nexala, how are you doing?
Hello. Can I get your number?
Oh, you already have it. You already had it all along. You just didn't knew it. And yes, on the right, we have Cthulhu in his beautiful butterfly outfit.
Yes, I'm here to pollinate all the flowers.
Oh man,
Oh, my.
pollinate my milkshake. And let us get started with this podcast. We are going to do a lot of Giganox today because I'm really want to.
Oh god.
We discussed this, guys.
There's a plan.
There's a plan for me to grind through the game much quicker, and that is using the Calibur bow.
What?
I don't have.
What? I didn't know that was the plan.
Wait, what?
That's the plan.
I thought you were just going to be status gunning.
No, I'm gonna be like Caliburning all the way because
God, I didn't
don't
know
have
I was going
any
to be a
shame.
part of this.
Slime
I don't have any
time all
shame.
the time.
It's not going to be your fault, all right? You're just going to be enabling me. Oh gosh, I don't even have a hot trick.
Oh, where are you, Christian? I'm coming.
So, guys, I went online for a little bit because I think I can get through a hunt. And I'm in a room. This guy's name is called Balls Deep.
See
Yeah.
balls
So
deep in that
how
room?
deep are his balls? Like he buried them?
I don't know. What did he bury them in?
He's in the deep end of the pool.
Oh, that was Shepard, not Christian.
Like
What?
Sandy?
Uh.
Uh-oh.
That seems like that would be like hard. Like your balls are too deep to play with.
Guys, I'm getting
Christian.
uncomfortable talking about... What? Where are you? Where are you?
Right
Dodo!
behind you.
Oh man, you are my savior. Thank you very much. I almost had to eat steaks. Oh gosh.
And so, what are your friends hunting, Nick? Just so people can have a sense of what's going on in the main streets of
Yeah.
Monster Hunter.
Well, I went into Steel Rathalos' room because I'm one pallium away.
And let me guess, you're hunting Roggies.
Steel Arrogance.
Oh, so they actually are fighting what they said they'd be fighting. That's shocking.
It remains to be seen because Balls Deep hasn't posted a quest yet, And so stay tuned for Balls Deep updates.
All right.
Keep us informed as the situation is updated.
Oh, my bad.
Nick is balls deep into balls deep.
I am.
Oh, sorry, Naxala.
Do you guys want to know about his equipment? I can tell you.
Please tell us.
Can you
We
guess
wanna know all about it.
what kind of equipment Balls Deep is using?
Crazy
Mixed
cat lady
armor.
set.
Mixed armor.
No,
Leathers.
he is using the Great Kelby Deer Shot. He's got
That'd be
Status
expected of
Attack
someone.
+2, Awaken, Capture Guru, Bombardier, and Load Up.
Oh,
So he's got Giganox,
So he is
G-Rank
Kelby
set
scum.
with Cowboy.
Yes, he is Kelby Scum.
Guys, I don't know. What's the problem with Kelby? Like, a lot of people are arguing against the Kelby bow, for example, because it's like so cheap.
well, here's the thing. In high rank, it is not nearly as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I meant to say G rank
What
because
the? Wait a minute. This Giganox has a egg on his back.
Yeah, what about it?
I never saw that
Those are
before.
his
What's going on
babies.
there?
Those are his babies.
Why does it have it on his back? It just exploded.
Baby got back.
Wait, guys, update. Monster Hunter Vooz is joining this room.
oh,
Wooz.
nice.
Wooz.
Oh, no, he is not. Now the slot was taken by a guy named Dragoon. But it's actually Drag Zero on.
Oh,
Drag Zero on.
let's talk about the Kelby bow a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
break
please.
it down. So,
Yes.
I mean, certainly in high rank multi-monster quests, if you've got any amount of slime going on, there's really nothing more broken. Slime does a fixed amount of damage, depending on the monster. That is kind of like a large barrel bomb. Some monsters it's more powerful, some it's less. It's kind of variable. But it's basically always a decent thing to do, even if the monster would normally be weak or resistant to it. Like even in Brachydios, it's not a terrible choice. But I guess where the criticism comes from is it's so effective at what it does that it really sort of almost even limits the choices you can do as a hunter, right? In that many times people will just get their slime set, and then you'll see them using almost nothing else the rest of the time that they're playing the game. Because
Yeah,
there's-
that's what I'm planning. I'm sorry. No, of course not. But I'm being the devil's advocate here. You know, I'm trying to create a discussion here. So yeah. So what's bad about this?
there's nothing. I mean, look, it's a multiplayer game. We're fighting monsters. We're hunting monsters. It's not like we're playing against each other. You know, is there anything really, really bad about it? No. I guess there really isn't. When you break it down, I mean, it's just a game, right?
Yeah.
But it maybe limits creativity. I mean, part of the cool part about Monster Hunter is seeing all the different weapons and all the different armor sets that people come up with.
Yeah.
And if you enter a room and all four people are using Kelby Bow, Giganox U sets, that kind of magical part about the game's kind of diminished a little bit. I mean, look at our ragtag party right now. I mean, not one of us looks similar at all. Well, I guess Cthulhu and Noxella both have the same hammer. But I mean, outside of that, we all look really different and diverse, and that's fun. That's interesting. But when you take the Kelby Bow, or even all the Brachydios weapons in general, it kind of makes the game like just a tiny bit more boring, in my opinion, you know?
So, as a game designer, I'm actually that's something I'm always watch out for. Game designers call this a degenerative strategy, like a strategy that trumps all of the strategies. Something that is very easy recognizable as something that always wins.
Right.
Something like something very like when you look at a game from like a min-maxing standpoint, something that always wins.
Well, that would certainly be Slime in this
Yeah.
game. And,
Yeah.
you know, as somebody that would be new to high rank or to G rank, you know, a very good strategy really would be, you know, just get the best slime weapon you can and use that to farm up everything else, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? It's
Yeah.
by, you know, is it the most powerful status? No, it's not. But is it effective on damn near everything? Yeah, it is. There's really not any monster that you know could be using it on that it wouldn't at least be okay. And especially the way that they balance the Brachydios weapons, they are already on their own very powerful weapons in terms of the raw damage and sharpness that they have, and slots. I mean, even if you're to take these weapons and remove the slime element from them, I think there would still be a lot of people using them just on their own as decent weapons. They would be overpopulated, but you'd see people using them. Add slime element on there, and now you have something that's really almost a nearly unstoppable force.
I find like the way the community is treating those kind of things is like very fascinating because, on the one hand we are trying to kind of beat the game and be really good at it, but on the other hand there's like an understanding of what the game is about that is kind of very implicit.
But this is the principle of the spoiled sport, right?
Yeah.
Right, where the spoil sport plays neither to win or to lose, but to play the game on our own terms.
Yeah. Or like to destroy this implicit understanding of what a game is about.
Yeah.
Like to stop people from doing something that they thought the game was about, or just doing something that annoys other people.
Right. I mean, the whole concept of Monster Hunter is you're cutting off a monster's dong and you're wearing it as a hat. That's really what it breaks down to.
Yeah.
And there are so many monsters' dongs to cut off in this game that you could wear as a hat, that if you're only wearing one all the time, it's kind of sad.
Yeah. There's a different perspective on this. I recently kind of developed. I think I talked about it on the podcast already, but to a certain extent, the reason why those games are interesting for a lot of people is because such strategies exist.
The slime strategy.
The slime strategy, because we're kind of basically always on the lookout for these kinds of things. We want to have the broken set.
Right, yeah. No, I've heard of this before. We sometimes just want to play games just to find out how it's broken.
Yeah, and then once we master the game, we are, we conquered it, and so we can like experiment. So we are kind of free to do what we want to have. But there is always something about how we play the games that always seeks to destroy the game.
Yeah, this kind of all goes back to a thing that I think I've talked about probably too much, which is the whole like the way that we design games as capitalists is through the immigrant. And the immigrant wants to end at the apex of possibility. Like they want to achieve the maximum possible thing. And that could either be a success condition or, in a game that doesn't have an ultimate success condition, a break condition.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
You be an immigrant, you want to be like the big boss at some point. You want to be we want to be like from achieve the American dream, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't know if it's prevalent in games designed in Europe. I would imagine so, just because like share a lot of similarities. But who is to know if it's systemic, like from our monetary system, or if it's cultural? Which I guess at this point most of those have combined. But
yeah, it's kind of interesting to see where this comes from. Like if there's like but if you look at like, wow, we did it, by the way. We defeated. Were there like G rank Giganoxes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. They were tiny G rank Giganoxes.
I like these people. I'm gonna get on this train.
I should play Monster Hunter. Maybe like do a podcast with them.
Maybe you could learn something from them occasionally.
I just need to get this Giganox set, and I'll be able to compete with them.
I mean, the refreshing thing though is like we spoke about a little earlier, is that the point when it would really matter, right? Which is like the 8-star and 7-star G rank quests. If there's just 1 or 2 Kelbibo people, it doesn't break things. It's not severely broken. It's really only when you've got 4 people all like making it rain slime in a monster that you're able to get enough slimes to get the constant flinches, to get enough slimes to get constant flinches. Do you know what I mean? Like if you are missing people and they don't know how to do it, it's not as big of a deal.
It's sort of funny. I was talking to the Reddit people on IRC the other day, and they didn't really agree with me. But I said it's a shame because slime at high rank is broken. Like you can destroy anything either by yourself or with like one other person, and it just dies super fast, and it does you this horrible disservice because when you get into G rank, you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep doing the thing that I was doing. And it doesn't really work as well anymore.
No, it doesn't. You're, in a way, it almost like, you're right, it kind of tricks people a little bit. It deceives them.
I don't know. I want to have this because it would allow me to grind the monsters quicker and to get all. No, and that would in turn enable me to have access a wider variety of gear, because basically I don't have any G rank gear right yet. But if there's like a first G rank gear to pick from, I feel like that's a good thing to choose, because then I can like easier get the other stuff easier. You know what I mean?
I hear it. No, you're right. I mean, and to be honest with you, that strategy I said of getting a slime weapon and using that to get all of your other weapons. Yeah. I mean, I've totally done that. Yeah. Absolutely, because you're right. Time is a limited resource. I mean, opportunity cost. There's only so much time you have to play the game, and may as well find the one thing to help you clear out the most monsters the fastest. I mean, the set, case in point, the set I'm using now was created exactly to get more stuff fastest. And so I've got Great Luck, Hone Blade, and Razor Sharp because I can use that with pretty much any weapon I want, and as a result, I can also get the most amount of rewards.
Sweet!
Min max.
Min-max! That's what we're all about.
Well, that's, for some people, that's what makes Monster Hunter fun. I mean, I know it's not a lot of people, or even necessarily a majority of people, but, there's so many mechanics to this game, and you want to be able to just abuse basically all of them. Or at least I do.
Yeah, but I'm kind of curious about what happens after you found the, as you said, after you found the Kelby bow and it's like, okay, it's totally broken, I can totally smash every monster with it. It's like, okay, so what now? So now I have to kind of invent my own goals. Like now that goal has been satisfied. Yeah. I've beaten the game. I've proven that I'm the master of the game. Now I have to kind of figure new goals out and make it interesting for me. Maybe I have to find a way without the Kelby bow to defeat a monster.
Learn to use a real weapon.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was just listening to the Idle Thumbs podcast because I'm trying to get into podcasts because, I thought it would be fun. And I had a lot of trouble because, I don't like talking to gamers about games, and I don't like talking to designers about games, but I like games, and I like hearing about games. But the one thing that they were talking about was FTL. They're like, I don't like that this game has this, win condition at the end. I just want the game to go on for as long as possible, and I want to see how far I can get. But they don't include this possibility there. And so, Monster Hunter has a finite amount of content, but not necessarily a win condition, so you're left without this, aimless goal. You have absolutely nothing that you can, officially do except get more stuff. And it's such a weird, thing that happens there. You're like, well, what do I do? How do I deal with this? And so then you start creating all these arbitrary goals that don't make really any sense to anybody but you.
I need to really get all the green armors so I can create a green collection of green armor.
I want everything to be orange.
That's not, but Monster Hunter has that in spades for sure.
Yeah.
And the time it takes to get that, it's it's got that gambling slot machine sort of quality to it, where basically every time you're fighting a monster, you're just spinning a reel at the end of the quest, hoping that you get that one, lucky jackpot for the thing that you need, your pallium or anything like that.
Bing, 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 bing. Yes, indeed.
Which, Great Luck helps a lot with. This is the gambler set.
That's something I really find interesting. There's a lot of games that have an infinite mode.
Yes.
Not like BioShock Infinite. I mean an actual where you can. I feel like the what is it?
It's the old Score Attack.
Anno series. Yeah, the Score Attack. Yeah, that's maybe a good example. But Score Attack is more you're trying to maximize it.
Yeah.
But with Anno series, there is an infinite mode in the Anno series.
That was one of the games that the Idle Thumbs people talked about. They're like, sometimes I just want to play Civilization for forever. Yeah. I don't want to win. I just want to keep playing forever.
Yeah, and you know that you could grab the victory. Like Civilization is a good example because you could go like for I don't know like, oh, I could go build the United Nations now, and I would just completely just blow those other guys away. But I'm gonna opt for like a military victory right now because it will take me a couple of 100 years now, and I will have to like conquer all of those continents. But that would be like really fun thing to do.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of It's one of the reasons that I don't really like playing Civ a lot because it's like, well, no matter how much work I put into this, it's going to be done and I won't be able to play anymore. So why bother?
And that's a good point. Yeah. Like, really need to enjoy the actual process of playing the game in order to get into this mindset.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's one of those weird things. Like, I've been having a lot of, like, it all started when I watched a development video from Artisans.
Uh-huh.
They had this amazing development video. They were showing, like, how you design platforms in a platformer.
Uh-huh.
You know, like they were showing like all of the simulated possible jumps, and if there were jumps that you couldn't make, and why you couldn't. And it was just I learned more about like how development works in that one video than I had like reading developer interviews. Wow. And so like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and it's opened up a whole like new realm of possibility for me in terms of like games. That's why I wanted to start. Like listening to like the Idle Thumb stuff because like it's just this weird. I have this weird bias towards like I guess it's computer science because I'm in social science, and I've never really like approached it, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm like confronting it right now, which is necessary because of where I'm going to be going to school.
Ah, so you're moving to Pennsylvania soon.
Yes, and I'm going to be working with a lot of computer scientists, so it's time for me to finally, like, go, well, okay.
I need to figure out how these programmers are thinking.
Yes. Extra credit? It was recommended to me.
Having a hard time. Oh.
Good paralysis.
Extra credits was recommended to you?
Just now. Pivot Bash said, hey, I want to watch the extra credits.
I don't know. You know, I don't like extra credits. I'm the person who doesn't like extra credits. I think I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I really appreciate what they're doing. I just the topics they're addressing are really really cool. They're really cool choice of topics. Often like even like doing some good work on the topics, but still I often end up disagreeing with them.
Yeah.
In a certain cases, because it's just like a 4-minute podcast, like 4-minute video on the internet. So they end up like often like boiling everything down to like a blurb, you know, like a sentence.
That's the problem that I'm having with podcasts is that like I think that Idle Thumbs is too long, but that's too short. You know, like
it's both. Just... Yeah. There's like on the other hand you want to have some kind of like a compact experience, but on the other hand like the topics they're addressing are like so broad they're actually not made to have like a final word on it. There shouldn't be a final word on it. It should be like a continuous process. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys killed him.
I would love.
What did you think was going to happen? We were going to cuddle and raise a family together?
Yes.
Maybe.
That's how we'll reproduce, Shepard. We'll use a Giganox.
Nice!
We'll both impregnate the Giganox and it will fuse in the sac on the body.
You take the front, I take the back.
I would love... This has gone way over PG-13 at this point.
I mean, like destroying the head and then the backside. Like there's like two breaks to get.
Are we gonna start making finger cuff jokes now? Have we become Chasing Amy? Are we talking about Chasing Amy?
That is Baleful Giganox's new nickname. Finger cuffs.
Finger cuffs. Can we call him Lightning Finger Cuffs?
Baleful Finger Cuffs.
Sparky?
Fearsome Finger Cuffs.
Let us make a break here. Speaking of podcasts, I was on a podcast recently, guys.
Yeah, it was very good. I liked it.
What is it called again? Midnight
Resistance.
Midnight Resistance, yes, indeed.
I'm like your secretary at this point.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm having really troubles with names. At some point I should hire like an intern. Seriously. Yes, Midnight Resistance, a really very cool podcast from the UK. Those guys, I've been actually we've been following each other for quite some time. I'm not really sure why. But they're really cool guys, and they invited me, and we were talking a lot about Monster Hunter.
Well, I know why.
Why?
They said on the podcast. They said that they had been listening. They had found the podcast a while back because they like Try.
Yeah, but that's not it. I must have. Yeah.
When this game came out, they saw that we were still making videos, and so they invited you on because you also have a game that you made that they enjoyed.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's maybe because of the game. I'm not really sure. Maybe they were like part of this entire brainy gamer circle thing going on.
I don't recognize them from the brainy sphere.
Yeah, me neither. That's kind of like where I'm confused. Anyway, for some reason they were in my Twitter stream. And that's good reason enough for me to join them and talk about Monster Hunter. It was fun. Those guys are funny. I really like British humor.
But that was another really long podcast. That was like 2.5 hours long.
Jesus.
It was. Well, our podcast is not really the shortest podcast either.
We try to get it to about
all.
an hour.
Not
sometimes.
at all.
So that's why I'm, for example, really amazed by the Experience Points podcast. Have you guys ever heard the Experience Points podcast?
I mean, we were just talking about it.
No, not the...
Experience Points.
Experience Points, not extra
I have heard of it, but I don't know. I haven't listened to it.
You should. Those guys are really nice from the Bay Area. Like two guys. I don't really know what they studied, but they're always managed. They're definitely from the brainy sphere.
Yeah, that's how I know them. The one podcast that I enjoyed, which is closest to what I was interested in, is called Another Castle.
I heard about that.
Which
Can you tell us something about this? It's
basically what's his name? Charles Pratt. He's from NYU. He's actually one of the three Charleses from the NYU. When we had the Artisans people on, they were talking about him.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so he invites, and this is like a really close-knit group of friends. It isn't necessarily like they go out and try to find people that they don't agree with. So that's kind of one thing that they don't have going for them. But they talk to like Mike Traynor, who's like a U.S. Who's the other person they talk to? Sandy Chen about their stuff. Brandon Boyer. And they just sit down for like 30-40 minutes and talk about a design thing. You know, like and that's the thing that's kind of fascinating, I guess, to me, is like I want to see some like high level talks about design ideas and like their impact on the people who play the game. But I don't want to have to sit through a whole bunch of like inside jokes and humor. Like, I just don't want. I guess I'm a humorless bastard. Is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, like that's what really I'm enjoying about generally podcasts in general, that there's so much choice.
Yeah,
like on each, especially on games, like there's so many different takes on so many different formats. Some people are doing it very long. Some people are doing it very short. Some people are like just some bros just hanging out together. Some people like are these academic people who really like to analyze and get down to it. There's just so much different approaches. Personally, I like podcasts. For some reason I like people hear people laugh on a podcast.
Yeah. It's funny. The podcast I used to listen to was Leo Laporte. I don't know if you know who Leo Laporte is. He was this guy on G4. He just had like a really nice voice. He was just this guy who's like call for help was like his show, so people would send in like computer questions, and he'd be like your grandpa going, "Hey, this is how you fix your computer," and he'd go through it. And then he ended up having like a podcast, and people would talk to him about new products, and it was always like a serious, professional sort of thing. It was neat. I enjoyed it.
That's sweet. Yeah, so he was also laughing?
I mean, he was a jovial guy, but it wasn't like ha ha fart joke.
Okay,
like-
yeah. Well, okay, that's not something I enjoy. But for example, a podcast I really enjoy
that.
is
What's wrong with some fart jokes?
There's some,
we had the deal of our fart jokes on the podcast as well. There is something to be said about the well placed fart joke.
but yeah, and I mean, our audience is somebody who typically would appreciate some fart jokes, and that's great.
Nick, are fart jokes inherently anti-feminist?
No, not at all.
What? What? That was like a one-shot kill, guys. There's nothing I could have done. I'm guilt-free. No, I want to say my brother and me
Such a good podcast.
is a podcast I very enjoy. That's a podcast I realized it is funny mostly because of the reactions of the hosts. Like
They've got
what
some
the
very
jokes.
nice laughs too.
Yeah, the way they laughing is just so infective,
Infectious.
infectious. Yes, indeed. And the funny thing is that one of them is actually one of the journalists at Polygon.
Which one?
McElroy?
Oh, okay. I was hoping
they're-
you were going to say the other guy.
No, the McElroy guy. So they're basically like three McElroy brothers,
Yes.
and one of them is actually a journalist at Polygon. But what they're trying to do is actually not to talk about games at all. So it's always interesting because one of them is like one of the brothers actually not really into games. So and they're trying to kind of like do something completely different. So it's kind of interesting to see a person who does a lot of game stuff try to do something different.
Yeah, that's it's funny. Like all of my, because I do tons and tons of not game stuff a lot, but like it's quickly like I can't. It's becoming harder for me to do things that aren't related to games, which is interesting.
Oh yeah. Like, do you guys have this problem where you're talking with like your spouse or something, and it's always kind of, oh yeah, that's kind of like a game I played.
Well, my biggest problem is that I'll say, that sounds like a white supremacist thread I was reading. And then I start talking about like white supremacy, and then it starts talking about racism in America, and then everything just goes weird. And so like
Yeah, I
Kristen's
know.
used to it because like I talk to her about this all the time.
Suddenly,
I've actually
date night is ruined. The mood
Yeah.
is killed. Hey, baby.
Is Kirsten like always comparing everything to like pets?
Yeah, for the most part actually.
Oh, interesting. I really like the fact that Kirsten posts so much vines of the pets that are
I know
free to adoption.
I convinced her to do that. That was me.
That's so good.
I said,
That's so
you know
good,
what you
Nick.
need to do.
I want to adopt each one of them, Rose. Even like the three-legged cat, because you post like a vine of the three-legged cat sitting there and yawning and like, oh, I want to adopt this cat.
I like the one that drank out of the water faucet.
Oh, so good. There's like a tiny, there's like a tiny short movie there. Like somebody opens the tap, cat looks, cat licks. So amazing. That cat was amazing.
So anyway, if you guys didn't know, my wife works for the Humane Society, and so she sees a lot of animals that are new and adoptable.
Yes.
What about
And
the
Vine.
unadoptable ones? The
Uh,
angry animals.
Angry animals, like
It's-
angry birds.
It's really rare because there are no-kill shelters, so like everything has to stay there. But occasionally, you get animals that are so maladjusted that there's nothing else that can be done.
She would be a cap-only hunter in Monster Hunter.
Basically, yeah.
So, what about you other guys? Are you guys listening to podcasts?
I listen to stuff on Duckfeed. There
Duck feed.
a bunch of
They're
podcasts
posting
on there.
about ducks.
No, it's mostly video game related that I watch or listen to. One of them is called the Bonfire Side Chat, and that's a Dark Souls based one. They're actually relatively recent, and they've been talking about Dark Souls as you progress through the game. So they go by area.
Wow, so they're very meticulous about this.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Most of the discussion is about like people's experiences in the areas, and then like the story or lore related to anything that you
I had
find.
no
there.
idea you were so much into this game.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't we
Crazy.
be?
Whoa, there's a great
that's a big,
Baggy here.
great baggy.
That's a big
Shepherd. Don't
bag.
look. Shepherd, don't look.
Let's kill it.
He's
Let's kill
actually
it.
really scary in G-Rank.
Let's kill it. Let's kill it.
That's a
kill it.
great baggie.
Let's kill it. I want to kill it. I need the record.
That's a good joke. That's a good word that Noxella used
Sorry.
about podcasts. Meticulousness. Like, that's what I want. I want a meticulous podcast.
I don't know. You should really try experience points.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will.
The amazing thing about experience points is that most podcasts are usually like, what you've been playing, and then like just basically just answering user questions or some listener questions or stuff like that, or just like us, just talking about some random stuff. But those guys are really like, this is the topic for this episode, and they just basically keep it down like under 40 minutes.
Yeah,
like usually
that's
even
what
half
I really
an hour.
Want. A half an hour is like max for me. So
Yeah.
like, because it takes me 40 minutes to walk home once I get off the bus, and so like 30 minutes would just be awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I would probably recommend this to you. Sometimes they're going a little bit longer, but generally like very focused on just one topic and different sides of the topic. Usually just starting with a article somebody wrote.
Yeah, that's a lot of the sociology ones kind of go around that.
Yeah.
But I haven't found a good sociology podcast because it's usually like one shots. Like a group of grad students get together to create a podcast, and then one of them graduates the next day or something. Like
Then it's over.
it doesn't work out
Thesis
for
has
them.
been completed.
Done.
Shepard, have you been listening to a podcast? Like a banker podcast, perhaps?
No, I don't. All those people keep their secrets secret. They don't. If you knew how much we controlled everything in your life, you would kill us instantly.
No, I'm from Germany. You cannot control me. I'm out.
Not a part of your
Typically, if I'm
system.
going to listen to something, I listen to old archival episodes from the radio series Loveline with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
Oh man, you still listen to him even though he's
I
been
have-
like discredited to the point of like hilarity?
Discredited? What do you mean by that?
Like people who are on his show, a bunch of them died, and people are
What?
really unhappy.
He
with
killed
his-
him?
He
You
didn't
mean-
kill them, but he didn't treat them well enough to
You
the
mean
point where
radio
like
listeners?
no, like from his show,
Oh, like his
the Celebrity
his
Rehab
celebrity
show.
rehab stuff. Well, his
Yeah.
radio show is very different than his TV show.
Yeah,
I mean, the advice he's giving
Oh.
on his radio show
like a doctor.
is almost consistently seek treatment, seek professional advice. Not necessarily his advice, but you need therapy. Generally, it's always therapy and medication. And if, you want to say that therapy and medication doesn't work, that would be one thing, but I would say generally that's better than doing nothing.
yeah. Because who was the one star that died recently? Mindy McCready, I think was her name. She was on his Celebrity Rehab show, and she was definitely like suicidal, but they just kind of, because she wasn't interesting on the show, they just let her go.
Man, that's this podcast we're recording right now got like really dark. Right,
It's
suddenly.
getting real, man.
What's going on here? Like, what? I have no idea what you guys talking about. Is that some kind of doctor, or what is that?
So Dr. Drew Pinsky is a addiction medicine specialist.
Look at this Becky. He's even like stumbling very quickly.
Yeah.
And so-
Maggie's a G-ranker in a hurry.
He has a radio show that is still in production based out of Los Angeles called Loveline, where he talks to the youth of our country, but not just the youth, adults as well, about sex education, and addiction. And on this radio show, all sorts of really crazy things happen. People call in with just the most bizarre of sexual questions. Like one person was having some serious issues. Like he was literally making love to a goat, and he didn't know how to stop making love to the goat.
While he was calling him.
He
Guys,
was-
there's a.
I mean,
Gigging up.
he was not making love to the goat while he was like talking to them, but like he said, I don't know how to have a real relationship with a woman. I'm not particularly attractive. It's not even my goat. It's my brother's goat.
What?
Things like
Crazy.
that.
What are you talking about?
Well, but what Nick is alluding to is Dr. Drew is really he does a lot of things that you would think wouldn't be very doctorly of him. In that, like, he's done shows on like
There's a
teen
trap over here.
pregnancy and celebrity rehab that you might
There's
think
a
is
trap over here.
I was over there.
Oh, yeah, I'm going over.
That were just
Sorry.
cash grabs, more or less. And what Nick is saying is that there are people on his show that died from their addictions.
Oh,
I don't know that
That's
that
not cool.
necessarily invalidates Dr. Drew as a person. I mean, these are people that are very sick in their addictions, and it's very likely that they'll die from their addictions if they have them to begin with. And
yeah, but it's kind of weird that he's doing like a show out of
yeah,
this.
it is strange. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but if his show, if there are people on his show that have an addiction and they don't get treatment and that's publicized, that's kind of that's informative to people. Here's somebody that had an addiction, they didn't get treatment and they died from it. That's kind of the point. Don't get involved in drugs or alcohol because this will happen.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Well, this kind of ties into something we were talking about before the podcast. The single one predictor of you being unhappy in your life is having an alcohol addiction.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And this is why we don't drink, Christian. This is why we don't drink during podcasts. Is because you'll die.
No, each one of my deaths was a one-shot kill.
So I don't know. So is that what you're meaning, Nick? Is that people died? I mean, do you think that discredits Dr. Drew?
There's a lot of call for him right now to be have his medical license revoked.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I can
Serious.
kind of see where that's coming from, though, because, as you said, there are shows, and these are people that maybe needed better medical treatment than being publicized on TV. I don't know that that's necessarily the right way to treat somebody that's sick with an addiction.
Well, it's sort of like he's been famous for so long that they're saying that the fame's now going to his head, and he's not trying as hard.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like 1 million shows. There's no doubt about it. He's got a lot of stuff he's all wrapped up in, and it's possible. I don't know. I to be honest with you, I haven't seen any of his new material. I'm listening to podcasts or radio shows that were recorded around 2000 and 2001, and that was pretty much the only thing he had ever done was Loveline and Loveline the TV show.
He started Loveline before he was a doctor, which is interesting.
He was a medical student.
Well,
He was just studying to get his medical license.
I'm always amazed how people are able to make a podcast about the thing that they have no idea about often.
Isn't it fantastic?
Like the way we basically started this out. No,
We had some idea.
no, but seriously, recently I went all the way to Darmstadt, the place where I grew up with, to listen to a live recording of a very famous German science fiction space podcast. And the interesting thing is that while I was sitting there and listening to the recording, I realized that those guys have actually didn't have any idea what they were talking about. Because they were talking about science fiction in space, and they just couldn't even for love of God, they couldn't just even mention one science fiction book. Basically the science fiction stuff they mentioned was Odyssey 2001 by Stanley Kubrick, Star Wars, and Star Trek.
That's all the science fiction you
Oh,
know.
wow.
And War of the Worlds. I think they also mentioned War of the Worlds. And that's it.
I'm watching Monster. I'm hunting with Vooz right now. We're about to do some Abyssal Laggy. Hooray! That's not a fun fight, guys. Abyssal Laggy. That's not a fun fight. I'm just throwing I just don't like it.
Do you like disco parties?
Don't try and convince Bauji that he'll swear up and down it's the easiest quest in the game.
It may
Christian's
be easy,
gonna
but
die.
that doesn't make it fun.
Christian's not going to die. Christian's going to need hard horns for your pelly bones, so we're going to go ahead and do this one to keep it a little more varied.
And
I have already
Chloris.
Calby bow. I need the armor.
You need
So-
to upgrade it as well.
So,
Guys,
what-
can you give me can you bring me a max potion with me because I don't have any, and that will
I can give
increase
you
my
some.
survival chances.
Yeah, let me hand it to you.
Thanks.
one thing Monster Hunter Views is talking about right now is that he took his SD card, put it in his computer, copied the whole SD card to his computer, put in another SD card, copied that data to another SD card, and put it into his Game Boy, and it worked, and then he transferred it back. So, you can actually back up your character.
Yay!
But will it work on a different copy of somebody's game?
You mean his DS, not his Game Boy? Yes.
Is it locked to a certain 3DS? Or-
I don't know
drinks.
how...
Cool drinks.
Cool, I don't know.
have him just send you his backup and see if you could load it up on yours.
That's interesting.
Should
But-
I release the shepherd and let
Release
everybody
shepherd.
become shepherd?
The shep sheets. Shep
Not
sheets.
releasing those.
Shep sheets. Shepherd, you need to release the shep sheets.
Oh,
I must imagine like there's going to be like a moment because now you don't release the shep sheets, but when the wildlings come over the wall, you will eventually have to be like in a position where release the shep sheets.
I
and
might-
there's going to be like a slow motion video of somebody uploading like an Excel sheet like to a web server.
I'm going to enter the chat right now just to see kind of like what the feel is.
People were
on the
talking
shepherd.
about skinning Shepherd for Shep Sheets.
well, so wait. I've heard Cthulhu referred to as Mance Raider.
What?
He's a little bit like this.
So it's possible that Cthulhu is, uniting all of the wildlings.
Cthulhu came out from nowhere. He entered our country of Westeros podcast.
He used
Yep.
to be one of us. Now
He
he's
used to
one
be
of
one of us.
People are talking
And-
about bribing my wife
Oh, wow.
for spreadsheets.
So I will, I eventually will consume all of the podcast in the dark winter to come.
Yep.
Yes,
Oh, and Dark Winter.
the winter is coming. But Cthulhu, what podcast are you listening to?
I really haven't had a whole lot of time to listen to podcasts. It's kind of unfortunate because just trying to balance, trying to get some projects done for class and for trying to get playtime with Monster Hunter and keeping up with the daughter. But I'm trying to find I want to try and find a good Cthulhu Mythos one, because me and my wife are looking at doing some projects with recreating Arkham Horror in SimCity 3, so getting something for more
Is SimCity
atmosphere could
3?
be interesting. Yeah, she's been on the Sims 3.
No, Sims, not
Yeah,
SimCity.
the
alright.
Sims 3, not SimCity. We're going to do it in Sims.
Did
And
you
so
guys
we're going to have...
see? By the way, about SimCity, I'm sorry. I have to say
Yeah,
it now.
sure.
Somebody sent me a glitch video of they called it the truck, and it was the truck that all trucks in the game were coming out of. It just existed. It existed like on a street corner, and it was just all of the roads were filling up with garbage trucks,
Nice.
and they were all coming out of this one truck. It was amazing.
Do you see the other glitch that happened with the most recent update with it, where the trees would make car noises?
That's awesome.
So you
Man.
have giant forests of cars beeping nonstop.
Amazing.
What sort of? How is that even possible?
The glass engine
Don't you
that
sort
they
of
came
ask
up
Shepard?
with is it just sounds fantastic. Like there's just so many things that can go wrong that they never bothered to think about, or maybe they did think about it and they're like, you know what, that's awesome. People will talk about it, and might as well keep going because people love glitches.
You know, something I learned from the which podcast? The Idle Thumbs podcast is the term baby walling.
Baby walling.
Sleep sword, sleep
Have
sword.
you ever-
Hold on.
No, I've never heard this term. What is
Sleep
it?
swording.
Baby walling apparently is some kind of like a term for using something. It basically comes from like some kind of building game where you could like create a wall out of babies. Like you could, I don't know, like you. Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I think it's from maybe for something like Dwarf Fortress or maybe something like Tycoon.
Oh,
Ah.
I could see it being a Dwarf Fortress reference.
where you could basically create like
Stop.
a wall out of babies to stop like enemies from coming in.
Yes, 'cause a lot of enemies would ignore...
using something like a ridiculous thing in a game, like using some kind of ridiculous exploit that doesn't make any sense, but kind of but breaking the game in the process.
There's a Volvodon.
I've heard this a lot in all of my
gosh.
white supremacy things into Skyrim, where people are like, I want to create the Redguard wall. And so they were trying to find a mod that would create this like infinite amount of stackable Redguard NPCs that they could murder and make into walls.
It sounds like a very unpleasant thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
So when are you going to create the baggy wall? for
What?
Shepard.
What?
To keep the shepherds out.
What? What?
Shepherds. We need to deal with a shepherd wildling invasion. I'm sorry, there's going to be like a lot of Game of Thrones references because I've been like reading Game of Thrones the entire day.
Nice.
Like the third book gets like so crazy. Like the current season we're watching right now, like the last episode was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, the episode was awesome. They're actually getting into like, well, this episode's the mid-season finale, right?
Yeah,
Well-
a little bit, yeah. But oh gosh,
Like a
that was like the monsters are ganging up on me. Gosh.
Don't worry about the
Christian,
Volvodon.
no.
Don't waste your shots on him. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, that was like a mix. But, oh!
Scrubcast!
Oh gosh, no!
What was that, 2 out of 4 quests failed?
Wow.
Oh.
Guys, I fought
Guys.
a Abyssal Laggy. We're about to kill it. I fought a Stygian Zenogre and a Zenogre in the arena. We killed those. I killed some Steel Urgans, made the set. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing over there?
Reset.
I would like to say that I have not died.
Yes.
You'd
You're the
like
only one
to,
who
but
hasn't.
will you?
You died in the previous episode often enough.
Yeah, but I was naked.
That's true. Let us maybe like get a quest that we can actually finish, and then we finished up the podcast. How about that?
Christian, did you
means-
finish your Azeroth set yet?
An arena quest.
Oh, that'll
Yeah.
be
No,
fun.
I have-
Yeah. That's a good tradition, ending with arena. Oh, wait, what is the challenge quest? Is that 4
Eventually,
days?
we'll get
don't
all of
think so.
our.
Speaking of Woos, there is something we really want to discuss, which is this cool tool.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
pings tool.
Yes.
Okay.
That is apparently something Woos also worked on.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. he tweeted about this.
He told me, because I said you guys need to make this into an iOS thing, and he said the iOS packages that he uses from Japan work very well for him. So apparently there are iOS tools on.
I don't know what sort of. Do we want to just do like dueling streams? Of, like,
Let's do it.
Okay. So.
Okay, so explain the tool, guys.
It's
Deuce.
MH Dex.
So we're gonna do.
Is it-
All right. So we're gonna do dueling Brachydios. So Noxel, you're recording,
Yeah.
and I'm recording. So that
And I'm recording.
means Cthulhu, you're with Noxella? No, Cthulhu, you're with me, right?
Looks like it.
I'm with Nexala and Cthulhu is with you.
Okay. So what this is a resource for just about every number you would ever need to know in Monster Hunter Tri-Ultimate. In that you can use it to find quest reward percentages, car reward percentages, capture reward percentages for every item in the game that you might need. And the reason why that's important is that there are certain quests with certain quest rewards for some very rare items. Case in point, we were looking for Diablo's Hardhorns, and doing the Plain Danger quest has a pretty
we
decent.
started.
Starting.
Go!
It has a
go,
decent
go.
enough chance in the quest rewards to actually get a Diablo's Hardhorn. And so even though you would normally want to do like Black Diablos on his own, thinking, oh, he gives the best chance for Diablo's Hardhorn, doing a quest that involves actual quest rewards for that rare item is the best way to go about that. And I'd say his resource is pretty much the best thing that we have in that regard. So it's available for both the computer, I believe it's available for iOS, and I believe it's also available for Android as well.
Did they make it for iOS?
I know it's Android and computer. I don't know if it's iOS or not.
Yeah, but I used the computer version. It's incredibly useful. There's like all kinds of filters you can use to, you check all the armors and then you see what kind of items you need and you click on each individual. You can click on each individual item that you need to craft an armor, and it shows you what kind of quests you can use to get this thing from. It's like you can browse basically like in a huge database of Monster Hunter knowledge.
Yeah, basically, if you bought the guide or you check GameFAQs and you want a even more convenient resource, Ping's Dex is really, really good. And he doesn't just make a Monster Hunter Dex. I think he makes a Pokédex as well. I think that's where the name
Yep.
comes from.
Yeah, the name sounds like Pokédex. It's basically like a Pokédex for Monster Hunter. It's really like all the informations you want to have about Monster Hunter in a very convenient tool. Something that I think every hunter should have. Just, so that you can like figure out what to hunt and what to get and how to do this. So where can people get this?
They can go to the Facebook page for the app itself, and there are download links there.
And what is it called again?
Ping's Monster Hunter Dex, I think.
Ping's Monster Hunter Dex.
Let me see. Yeah,
Gosh.
Ping's MH3G
Man, this guy's brutal.
Dex.
This guy's super brutal right now.
You have a max
gosh.
potion.
I drank it already.
You have
All of
3.
them? Yeah.
I have multiple ones?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I have multiple ones. Nice.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Man, this double sword, it looks like some Macarenas.
They're Diablo's tails.
Nice.
I've got cat ears on my set. I don't even know what do I have on this. Oh, evasion +2. I should probably utilize that.
Explosions!
I'm using
Reproduce
I've only got
so-
water attack, so
I'm using the gimmicky bow with Knockout King.
bring the rain.
Whoa! This guy!
This is going to
This
be
guy
bad.
can do anything.
Oh. There we go.
Help me!
Cthulhu, is it bad that like sometimes I really wish that he would attack you? Am I
no.
a bad person for that?
No,
like,
no.
what is that term again, Christian? Schadenfreude? Like,
Schadenfreude.
Wishing for other people's misfortune.
Unfortune.
Because that's less misfortune for yourself, but is that necessarily part of it or no?
It's not really wishing, it's more like being happy about other
Oh,
people's
I'm not
misfortune.
necessarily happy when you get hit. Cthulhu, I just want you to get hit rather than
Yeah, I understand.
Oh gosh,
especially when
guys,
I'm getting
this is-
knocked, like literally chained
this is
from one
intense.
explosion to another.
Yeah, that's why I decided I'd take the chance to grab some life powders, just in case.
It's good. I still have one. I came with one.
Hey, a leggy dynamo. Woo woo!
You did it.
I've done it. I
Do you
got
thi-
one.
Now
Hooray.
what
Guys,
will
do
you
you
do
think
with
a laggy dynamo is maybe like a solution to all our carbon?
I
problems
think
right now?
that the existence of a leggy dynamo proves that this is just a clockwork game, and we're fighting against the creations of the weapon maker.
You mean like in Bioshock Infinite?
Sure.
Is that spoilers?
Spoilers. That's
I-
high level spoilers. You don't find that out until way later.
Yeah, at the end of the game of Monster Hunter, you realize that it's all like a multi-universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
I could see this being like the result of the United States not developing energy independence and instead creating genetically modified monsters in order to utilize their parts to power their cars and televisions.
At the end of the game, you realize that you've been playing Shepard, and you can just. And at some point, you can decide not to play Monster Hunter, which will undo the entire game of Monster
I have
Hunter.
decided never to release the Shep sheets. How about that for a decision?
No,
But
you
then
get
in
the Shep
another
sheets finished.
universe, you've released the Shep sheets.
What?
Yes.
And that's Bioshock
The Shep sheets
Infinite.
is what made you. The Shep sheets made Monster Hunter possible in the first place. Because they travel back in time, and then the developers get hold of the Shep sheets, and they made a game based on the Shep sheets, which is Monster Hunter.
They're not allowed.
You're not allowed.
I've worked so hard. I have so many of them.
I know,
I
right?
mean, I know you guys will think it's crazy. Like, I don't normally talk. I don't even know how it got into the topic of conversation. Anyways, it was just streaming one night, and I decided that
now it's out. Shepard, now it's
You,
out.
you revealed them on the stream.
I revealed one of them.
Exactly.
You know,
They're-
it's true. The Shep sheets will eventually release themselves.
They won't. There's not like a
Oh.
death timer or something really like tied to my death where if like I don't press a button, they'll be released. It's the opposite. They will be deleted.
One day they will know their own names, and there won't be
They're-
anything
yeah.
you can do to
They
stop.
They're
They
just
may
going to gain
develop
sentience.
They'll just wake up one day and they're like, "I am a Shep sheet,"
Skynet.
and
The Shepshies will become self-conscious. Like they will understand that they're
I'm a learning
alive.
computer.
We did
Yes,
it.
we did it! We did it!
What?
Yes! One! We are the winners! The winners of the all! The winners of the world!
We are not winning.
I'm
winning.
Oh,
I got two
What was
KOs.
your
too far
time?
behind.
6:23, I think.
ours is 6:32.
That means we're better.
Shameful.
Shame on you.
Shameful.
Guys, I don't want to ever upgrade my Fangdemonium.
Don't. It's going to be like a Pikachu of Monster Hunter.
I don't want to upgrade it. Like, it's called the
Because you love it so
Fangdemonium.
much.
You
You believe in his heart.
Yeah, I do. I love it. I want to marry it.
I want to ask you guys, have you ever tried the was Skull-Lark challenge, this Pokemon thing?
Nuzlocke.
Nuzlocke, yes.
I've never
Sure.
tried it because I knew I would fail at it horribly.
Is this the
I'm too
challenge
lazy.
where you live? It's permadeath Pokemon?
Yeah.
Permadeath, and you
one
train the
is-
first Pokemon in every zone that you run into, and those are the only Pokemon you get.
It seems like it would just reward mindless riding. For
Pretty
Pokemon.
much.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't because you can have upgrading your Pokemon.
One
but it also
ultimate
creates,
powerful Pokemon.
but it also apparently creates like a bond with your Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's so easy to just take your starter, max out the level, and just face roll the entire game with that.
Yeah, but what if it dies?
Oh, just don't let it die.
That's what you
Be
think.
careful. Grind on
cannot-
level
you
1
cannot-
Pokemon until it's level 50.
And now you have to go all the way back to the beginning? I guess, is that what you guys are saying? You basically
If you run
have
out
to
of
do it.
Pokemon, yeah.
Yep.
Yes. It's also it makes you really like a Pidgeotto or something. It's just something like wow. This is going to be my Pidgeotto. Together we're going to conquer the world.
What if,
Like the Rattata.
what if you don't get the
Wow,
Pokemon
man.
necessary to get all the HMs you would need to clear the game?
So
Get wrecked.
HMs, you can assign them to whatever for the most part. There's specific clauses for things like that, like Magikarp, I think is a givey you can get that you can't actually ever evolve. So you can get Swim.
Wow, you guys are really into. That's something I'm really amazed by every time I'm like teaching new batch of students. Like Pokemon has become such a touchstone for such a huge generation.
Are you calling your generation fat? 'Cause they're not fat,
I
just big bones.
see.
Yeah.
Generation P.
Generation
know,
Snorlax.
But the problem is Pokemon is multi-generational at this point too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't.
I was a little bit too old already, but I still kind of got like some basics. But the people I teach at school, they grew up with this. They have, they are crazy about this. Yeah, they speak the Pokemon language. You know what I mean?
I've tried really hard to get into it. It's one of those I just can't get I can't get hardcore into games anymore. Christian, do you have this problem too? Do you
Yes.
feel like you're just too old to
Yeah.
get it? It's this weird I'm getting old. It's kind of scary to me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
I
whereas
don't
like
get this.
I don't need to another of those big things in my life that I dedicate so much life into.
Yeah.
I have already enough things that I can push all of my time into. Guys, are we still fighting in Brachydios?
No,
I don't know
we're
where
out
you
here
are.
waving.
Where are you, Christian?
I'm sitting here and drinking. Guys,
Alone?
come join me at the
Wow,
table.
Drunk.
Join me at the table.
Alcohol addiction.
Drunkard.
Hey,
No, I'm doing
there's a
social
spot
drinking.
open in this Voo's room. We're gonna fight a Goldian and then Lucent Narga.
Ooh.
We're gonna do this in a second. Let me wrap up this podcast. How about we wrap it up, guys?
Okay.
That
Yes,
sounds like
no,
you're
yes.
being safe.
What?
Wrap it up. Be safe.
I'm gonna wrap it.
Wrap
Planned
it up.
Parenthood.
So
Follow the plan.
the website you should visit is teamworkcast.com. Bing! which is the beautiful website where we created all the wonderful stuff that is related to Monster Hunter. You can watch our podcast, you can watch other podcasts, you can schedule hunting parties with other people, and you can ask and answer questions about Monster Hunter. You can get all of the knowledge about Monster Hunter and more. Bing!
Burn.
Bing. And so what about videos that are coming out?
My plan was to edit some Lost Planet videos today, but that didn't happen. I'm gonna hopefully do a bunch of this tomorrow.
Yeah, we are we are a little bit in a tricky phase of our lives right now, so we don't really have too much time for videos.
Yeah.
For additional videos, but we are trying to get through those difficult times and eventually get some really awesome content. I, for example, have to get another season of Starstrap out.
Oh man, I was
hard.
just thinking about that forever.
We recorded it. It is in our database. We need to release it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I just need to get it out. Yes, indeed. So we'll look out for that. I guess so. There's not really anything to. Shepard, what about your weapon videos?
Editing podcasts are difficult.
Yeah, people don't believe it, right? People always say like, "What? You just need to put some footage into and just render it
You just
out."
sync it up
Shepard.
and just export it right now. It's not like that.
Yeah, like
I didn't.
like just for information, like it takes usually maybe up to 8 hours to edit a podcast.
About 8 hours for 1 hour of produced footage is reasonable. That seems like about right.
If you're really fast, you can maybe get it down to 5 hours.
Well, something that I'm doing now is weekly in the Capcom Unity forums, we are having Monster Hunter meetups. And so I have one less night a week to edit because I am playing live and in person. So this past week I met up with Kentaro in New Haven, also known as Ken, and we played some Monster Hunter, ate 2 pizzas, and drank a pitcher of beer.
Sweet.
If that doesn't sound like a good time, I don't know what planet you're from. But other than that day, I will probably find the time to finish up the bow tutorial, which was done incorrectly and needs to be edited because I had equipped Evade Up, which completely invalidates everything I was talking about in the video. The entire time I'm like, man, that seems like a long ways away. Like, what is going on with this distance between this meat? So I figured it out. I'll fix that. I'll fix the distance, and I will hopefully have that released sometime next week. It will really help those of you that are new to the bow figure out your distances, figure out the different types of shots, as well as the demonstrations. I have a really good time against the Arena Narga.
Ooh.
I think that's pretty exciting. So look forward to those, both the basic bow tutorial as well as the Narga bow demonstration in the arena for next week.
That sounds sweet. You should look out for those videos. They sound amazing. I'm going to watch them as well. So we will be back next week, right?
Yes. Hopefully.
Yes, we will be. As anything else, Nick, you want to say something?
No. I'm selling my house. If everybody wants to buy, a piece of Monster Hunter stuff, you can own the house.
Like
of
to our
Putty.
very
There
dedicated
may
fans.
be a
If
person
you
that
have
would want to do that.
Yeah.
like a Monster Hunter house.
I'll buy the house. We'll set it up as a museum to Putty. I'll sell
Yeah.
tickets.
Oh, man.
There we
Totally.
go.
Nick, will you
sounds
leave
great.
some of your soiled linens so they can preserve your scent too?
We've been talking about leaving the bed here because we want to get a king size
DNA.
bed. We only have a queen right now.
So you'd even throw in the bed you slept on
yeah.
and did other
You know?
things on.
No,
Well,
never.
That doesn't make sense. Why is there a king size and a queen sized bed? Like that must make sense. Like the king sleeps with the queen.
Sometimes
Not always.
Maybe
I mean,
the
not in
king
the
is
olden
morbidly
days.
obese and he needs a bed to fit his obese body.
Maybe the king is like King Joffrey and he's really small.
I really enjoy. Did you see the letter that George R.R. Martin sent that guy? They're like,
to the actor.
yeah, he said, nobody likes you. Good job.
He actually I think the actor of the Joffrey did a better job than the actual. Like, I hate him so much. I hate him much more than I hate the character from the book. It's amazing.
It's just amazing. Like, wow. I mean, he'll never be able to. He's typecast for like the rest of his life.
Like,
you know?
I really need to rewatch like Batman because he's the son of.
He's sort of like
Commissioner Gordon.
the guy who plays Malfoy. You know, Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies. Like,
I haven't watched them.
He played basically Draco Malfoy in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Ah, okay.
And he's going to play Draco Malfoy for his entire life. And it's like, even if he's the nicest guy ever, he is permanently Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, forever. Okay, so we will be back next week with another Game of Thrones and Monster Hunter filled episode. Wish you good luck, good hunt, and remember, a shepherd always pays his sheep debts. His sheep
What?
debts. Sheep debts.
What?
You know, the sheep sheets debts.
2 out of 10.
Not good.
Wow.
I
Push
would
my-
give it
push
2
my
out of
button.
10. That's
I
being
can't-
nice.
I can't help but admire Cha-Cha's stamina.
I mean, do you see this big glowing red button that has emerged from my groin?
No.
What happens when you press it?